Hello, and welcome to the Fisher Protocol, the show. We're saying The Who is the greatest band of all time is not subjective, but everything else is. Please take a quick second to like, subscribe, and share us with your Who-minded friends. The Who is a passion of ours, and no money is being made from these videos, so liking and subscribing lets us know that we're not alone in Who land. Constructive feedback is always welcome, either in the comments below or at the new FisherProtocol@gmail.com. And I spout other Who-related content on Twitter and Instagram at Fisher Protocol. I am Ethan. I'm being joined today by my best Who friend, Tom. We do not claim to be experts, just two guys that like to talk about the greatest rock and roll band of all time, The Who. Hey, Tom.
What's going on there, bud?
Oh, my God. It's been so long.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's just get down to it. We're not doing a studio album today in the regular sense. We are doing Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy, right? A collection of Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy, and I'm not reading this directly from Wikipedia, so is a compilation album of singles released in 1971 and entered the charts on the 20th of November, 1971, peaking at number 11 in the UK on December 3rd, 1971, peaking at number 9. In 1987, Rolling Stone ranked it as number 99 on their list of 100 best albums of the period 1967 to 1987. Which is kind of weird because it's not really a studio album. I don't understand. Yeah. But the most, before we get into the album, which is a very important album for me, it's this real midpoint in the career. It literally comes out in November of 1971, and Who's Next was released in August of 1971. So this comes out after Who's Next. It's like saying, hey, Who's Next is doing so well. This is what else these people have been up to, if you didn't know.
Cash grab.
Love it. I mean, it is kind of a cash grab, but, and another thing I read on Wikipedia is Dave Marsh, who wrote Before I Get Old. He really, really didn't like this because he was a Who fan from the beginning, and he was promised so much more. Like, we're always promised so much more. Like, we're promised, like, Pete's going to go out and do a whole B-side rarities concert. And they never do it, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? That being said, I can see where Dave Marsh is coming from. And I love his books, and I love his work with Bruce Springsteen and all that. But for me, who got into The Who in 1989, this was a big deal. This album was a big deal for me. And I remember it. I had it on a cassette. If anyone remembers what those are. Little reel tape things you would put and listen to. It's a collection of their best singles. You know what I mean? And a budding Who fan needs Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy to get along in the world. What's your history with it? Did you have it?
So for me, like, just my, like, Who history, like, saw them in the 9/11 concert, went out, bought probably the first thing I saw, in the racks at Best Buy or whatever, was probably the Essential Who, which, it's probably 2 discs. It was definitely 2 discs, like, spanning their whole career. So I heard songs like I Can't Explain and Happy Jack and I Can See for Miles and Pictures of Lily, all those songs on that. But then as I, like, I'm probably 13, 14 at the time, like, go to the store and just, with my, grass cutting money, like, buying different albums, like, buy some of that early stuff. And it's like, man, where are some of those songs? Like, they're not on any albums, but they exist. You know what I mean? So once I got to Meaty, then I was like, oh, okay, like, this is where they ended up, or how they ended up somewhere. So by the time I had the album, I'd heard most of the stuff in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I got about there, like, a roundabout way, but we got there eventually, though.
And it's not my first greatest hits compilation of The Who, but I'll get to that later because that's a little bit of a story here. But it is our opportunity to talk about some of these songs that aren't going to be on albums that mean so much to us. Yeah. one of my favorite Who songs of all time is I Can't Explain.
Yep.
Which I have in this lovely poster in my fake background up here, that 50th anniversary Decca, whatever. I Can't Explain. I've heard described as a Kinks ripoff, the sound kind of, but the lyrics aren't.
Yeah.
It's almost the perfect pop song to me. And it's the only song I ever want to hear the Who open a concert with.
Yeah.
Probably the only song besides the Quadrophenia tour I have heard the Who open up a concert with.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
I love I Can't Explain. I can't talk about how much I love it. I love it so much. That's going to be how it is on a bunch of these records. It's a great song to play if you're trying to learn how to play guitar by the Who. It's amazing. The Live at Leeds version is great.
Yeah.
I love the 2000s and up version because it's just them warming up, saying with the Who or here we're playing I Can't Explain.
Yeah.
Nothing means the sound of them walking on stage, him turning up and doing a little, like a little harmonic to see that he's in tune, and then busting into a reverb distortion filled I Can't Explain is the sound of God to me.
Yep. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
For me, I remember at some point early on when I was just starting in the Who stuff, like I got that 2000 Live at Royal Albert Hall,
sure.
album.
Yeah.
I had the DVD.
Yep.
And starts off with the Can't Explain, and it's just, they all walk out. John's grabbing his bass, just does a big long, slide on his bass, just that sound. It's like, holy shit. And then, they just go right into it, and just their sound, John playing the way he plays, it's not playing what the record is. He's playing a million notes a second, octaves and all this stuff. That's the only song I want to hear when they start a show. I think my first show was Philly 2006. And as soon as they came out and started it, man, I got so freaking teary-eyed. You know what I mean? I'm like, first time seeing them, and then just like the power and feeling it. Oh,
did we run into each other at that show? Did I see you on the side? Were you on the side? Were we talking?
I don't think so.
But we were both at that one.
We were definitely both at it. I was all the way up. I was like nosebleeds.
Wasn't it you who took like the video? Do you have the video of it? Did you order that one off themusic.com?
Yeah, I definitely have DVD of it.
Were you the one who took a picture of me on the stage because they had the video? Like,
ooh,
it said they had the video of going across the crowd, and there's definitely me. I definitely can point out me in that crowd.
Yeah, no. I don't know if it was me or not. I remember that happening, or I remember that at some point, but
yeah. Oh, by the way, we were both at a concert where they played Trilby's piano. So you guys, not Trilby's piano, Unholy Trinity or Holy Trinity, whatever it is. You were at that show. Just want you to know that. Peru fans. Okay. We just talked about The Kids All Right 2 weeks ago when we did or a week ago when we did our review of the Who Sings My Generation.
Yeah.
I love The Kids All Right. It's an amazing song. It's just amazing how much bass in those early songs. It's not amazing, but how much the bass makes up the whole sound of the whole band, as they're famous for, as Pete has said on multiple occasions.
Yeah, it's the perfect song. Top 5 for me.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear it, I'm always pumped. Love singing along to it. Love the breakdown. Just love the power behind it. It's a sweet, not a sweet song, but it sounds so innocent, and the band just murders it. It's light, it's heavy, it's fast, it's everything.
When they get to that middle part on the live version, when they go, I know if I go, things will be a lot better for her.
Yeah.
I had things planned and her folks wouldn't let her, and they so much power in that teen frustration of teen love. I can hear it every time, and it's amazing every time. I love The Kids All Right.
Yeah, no, it hits you square in the chest.
It does. I've heard this next song described as lead drumming. I agree. Happy Jack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Live at Leeds version is a great version. I don't think it sounds too much different than this one. Am I wrong?
No, they play pretty straight live, I think. it's just a weird song. There's not a ton of room for interpretation.
Yeah.
Just with the doubling of the bass and the guitar and stuff. So, yeah, it's, again, I say this a lot with this band. Who else could write a song like this? You know what I mean? Any of their contemporaries. I've never like worked my way through the entire Rolling Stones catalog. Zeppelin maybe a little closer. Beatles, I've heard everything, but it's just, and the Beatles definitely had their fair share of like, what the fuck is going on? But this song, yeah, is so just so British. It'd be tough to think of somebody else who's playing this song.
Also, Happy Jack Had Some Fun here on Radio 1, which I think is an outtake from
Who Sell Out?
From that box set.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years next from R&B. All right. So the next song, which we're going to talk about in detail because we are going to get to the Who Sell Out at some point in our life. I thought it's I Can See for Miles, and I thought for years that Paul McCartney heard the song and then made Helter Skelter because he wanted to make it dirtier stuff. That's not true. Has been clarified. He heard Pete Townsend talking about their newest, most explosive song. And he wanted to make a song to match what Pete Townsend described it as, because apparently Paul McCartney doesn't listen to other people's music.
Right. Huh. Yeah.
Fair enough. The song is I Can See for Miles. Really weird story. Do you remember Richard Grieco, the 80s actor? He was on 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
He had his own show after that where he played like the same guy, and he had to track down Lucille, B.B. King's guitar in this one episode.
Yeah.
I remember from when I was a kid. And so he's following this guitar around, and he catches up with it at a Who tribute band show where they were playing I Can See for Miles. And that's my first memory of I Can See for Miles. And they almost smack the guitar, and he loses his mind, whatever. Also, side note, Roger Daltrey was in the Richard Grieco movie If Looks Could Kill for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Not that matters for anything. I haven't talked about I Can See for Miles at all. What do you think about it?
I love it's. I really love this song. I think it's, I know Pete's so proud of it, and it's, maybe the shining star in the catalog, and really, really good song. I cannot stand that little high-pitched guitar part, the, pew, pew. It drives me up the wall.
Really? I love that part.
I don't know why.
I think they're at it.
It cuts me. It cuts me for some reason. But I mean, like when they get rocking and rolling this thing, and especially like the '89 band and stuff. Such a good song. I love it. It's a really good song.
Yeah, it's fun to play. I Can See for Miles. It's a classic. It's one of those songs where it's like, it's the Who. And I don't think it was on a lot of greatest hits, was it? Like the single disc greatest hits things? I'm probably 100% wrong on that. Probably 100% wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a great song. I hate bashing the little meow, 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 meow part, but drives me up the wall.
My all-time favorite song of like these early batch of songs in the early form, I'm not talking about in the live form, is Pictures of Lily.
Yeah.
I named my longest term cat who I lost last year, Lily, after the song. Only later did I find out, I'm so dense, someone had to explain to me what it was about, which they say it's about masturbation. File that in the squeezebox category, I guess.
Right.
I don't know what it was. I think a lot of it had to do with that middle part with the Pictures of Lily, because that says everything about the Who to me in the world. I know I tried to learn it. I know it's ascending chords from like a C down at the 8th fret all the way back up. I don't know. It's one of the first songs like on these early things that I fell in love with. I'll kill for this song.
Yeah, no, it's not a battle you have to fight with me. Yeah, it's so good. Just such strong songwriting. Clever and not. I don't want to say cheeky, but like, yeah, you can totally miss what it's about or what it's supposedly about
Oh, sure.
if you're just listening to it. I think by the time I was getting into the stuff, like, and you're reading articles and reading books, it's like, all right, well, okay. It wasn't too much of a secret for me as, that was concerned. But again, just such a perfect Who song. I remember I had some friends in high school who were in a band. And I was like, hey, if you guys ever want to cover Pictures of Lily, I got a friend Troy and I'll play the solo for you guys. That. So yeah, it's such a great song. So original, so them. Yeah, I mean, a French horn solo in the middle of it, like, again, who's doing it?
And the naive heartbreak of the kid when he says she's been dead since 1929. It's like, I feel it, man. I feel I would have been so upset.
I mean, and you gotta figure everybody that age had somebody they're like, oh, that person. You know what I mean? But imagine being back then when you didn't have freaking computers.
or TV, really, like,
Yeah.
Pictures of Lily's.
Yeah, just crazy to not have, just magazine clippings of people, pictures of something, like one picture. That's the only picture you have of that person. Holy shit.
Yeah, right. I won't start talking about Star Trek now. Anyway, I do want to talk about something here at Pictures of Lily because it's a complicated live history of the song. They did it at Monterey, which I really don't think anything sounded too good at Monterey.
Nope.
It was all the borrowed equipment and all that kind of stuff. They did it in 1989. There's a great version of 1989 where Roger completely forgets all the lyrics. And they train wreck. The band does it perfectly. And it's fun. The arrangement sounds good. Roger screws up the lyrics. Now, in later years, when the Who has like musical directors, or I think his name is Frank Symes, they do this thing where people still want to hear the song, but you can't really do it without that original arrangement, without the horn. So they'll arrange it and they'll do it as the record live now, which is, I like hearing it. I think I have heard it live.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that? Because the Who is not known for recreating their record sound on stage. It didn't seem to interest them.
Yeah.
In any way, except when they absolutely had to with backing tapes with like Won't Get Fooled Again or something.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on this either way?
It's interesting because I would normally sit there and say I enjoy live versions of the songs more than the studio versions.
Mm-hmm.
Usually just due to energy and, that kind of thing. Just getting a good proper mix rather than, mixed in a board in the studio. This is one of those ones where I prefer the studio version 10 times out of 10. I've seen it live and it's good, you know what I mean? But this is one of those songs where it's just so hard to like nail it. And obviously Roger's voice is a little different now than it was back then. Yeah, I'll take the studio version over it all the time. I appreciate the effort that the musical director puts into putting it out live properly and making it sound right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you could attempt the song without, adding some extra pieces of the puzzle because there's so much there that's not in there normally.
And there's a handful of songs that I'm so grateful that they have tried to do like that, because without that, I wouldn't have been able to hear them live.
Yeah.
Ever since Who Hits 50, I got to hear a quick one while he was away live. I never thought I'd get to hear that live.
I didn't get to see that.
Yeah. It did a couple times, stuff like Slip Kid I got to hear live. I got to hear, Pictures of Lily live. These are songs that were on a list that I thought I would never get to hear live. And I did. So, and I think Sister Disco's on my list too, just excited that they do it. But The Who is not known for recreating their album sound, so it sounds weird.
Yeah.
Me sometimes. The next song is My Generation, which we just kind of spoke about. It's there. It's My Generation. You know what I mean?
There's nothing else you can say about it.
Yep.
It's perfect. It's iconic for so many reasons. Yeah, it's the song that'll be on their gravestone. You know what I mean? Like it's perfect.
Right on. All right. So going back to I Can't Explain, Who comes out, you go to see him for a show. They do The Sound of God. They do I Can't Explain. They do Substitute, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then they would come out and do Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. For about the first 10 years, I would see them live. And then they stopped doing that. They would come out. They would do I Can't Explain. They would do Substitute. And then they would do The Seeker, which is the next song.
Yep.
And Pete would always say, this is the song from the swamp before he started to play it. And that's because he wrote it in a swamp in Florida. I love The Seeker, of course. I love every part of The Seeker. And my only observation about The Seeker that I don't think that original guitar strum that's on this album and on the original single has ever been reproduced faithfully. Even by
probably not.
That flamenco thing that he hit perfectly in that studio for this song, like the very first drum, I don't think it's been recreated even by him. But I love The Seeker.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Again, just a really, really solid song. Super fun to play on guitar. I was very happy to see it. I think it was 2006 or 7 I saw it. Just a really fun song. Again, just perfect too.
And it really belongs here because this was the singles. This is the first thing released after Tommy.
Right.
It came out in March 1970. And it came out before Live at Leeds, I believe, because Live at Leeds was recorded in February of 1970.
Right.
So it's really kind of a perfect, just like this record, kind of like the middle point for The Who.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The pre-Tommy and the post-Tommy. And, it sets off that first, I would say this is the first in that span of singles and B-sides from that Lifehouse era. It's a secret. Yeah. And it was in the movie, it's been a lot of movies, but it was a big time in the movie American Beauty.
Yep.
Which doesn't quite hold up. Anyway, that's neither here or there. Anyway, anyhow, anywhere. You got any thoughts?
Just one of my favorites again. Loved it, loved the studio version, loved hearing it on, I think it's on the Kids Are All Right movie live. I think they do it.
Like a really, really early version, maybe, probably?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just, and, it's such a great attempt to kind of show what the Who could do live with all the feedback and all that. This is one of those songs that if I could travel back in time and see it live, like, holy shit, that'd be so much fun. Just
it's the third in that trifecta they would come out and open their show with.
Yeah.
For the first couple, first decade or so after they got back in 99. Really like it.
Yeah, I try to picture being a kid back when it came out and hearing it and like, just this weird opening and then, it's this kind of poppy song and then it just like falls to pieces. Just the feedback and the toggle switch and everything else. Like, oh my God. And
I like how they, like in the live one, how they bring it around again. They're all kind of like everywhere and then they're able to pull it in again. Like, it's really good. Pinball Wizard's the only one that feels weird to me on here. Only because it so belongs to Tommy. I understand it's a single and it's an update of all the singles.
Yeah.
But, maybe we'll talk about Tommy one day again after the holiday special. I don't know. I love Pinball Wizard,
Yeah. There's nothing else to say. It's perfect.
I'm kind of going to glance over a legal matter anyway, too, because we just spoke about that. It's great, high energy drumming. It's from the Who Sings My Generation. We like a legal matter.
Yep.
You ain't the first, you ain't the last. Boris the Spider. It's the only song I know how to play on bass.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the first two ones I learned. I remember hearing this for the first time and just the introduction, like this is your introduction to John Entwistle.
Yeah.
And it gives you a great look at who he was, just his personality and his sense of humor, and just such a weird, goofy song, but just great. Yeah, I don't know. And just like the bass tone, no one else sounded like that. Again, I hate saying it, just so uniquely Who. Like no one else is going to put this song out.
And it's so uniquely John Entwistle Who too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean, you hear, and it's, love it. Never seen it live. I don't think they'll ever play it again, but I know it's definitely one of their most requested songs.
I might have heard it live. I know I heard it live when I saw John Entwistle, and I know in Quadrophenia 96, 97 tour that I probably heard it.
Yeah.
Because there's even a recording of them, I think, in Washington where they do it along with like one of those old TV theme songs. They weave it in there, like Tommy Gunn, or I don't know what the names of the shows are.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I love Boris the Spider. Magic Bus with the long intro here.
Yeah, this is
Come on, it's great.
It's my white whale. It's my live white whale.
Oh,
I've
really?
Never seen it. Never seen it.
I don't know if I have or not. I probably have. I must have.
I think it's one of my mom's favorite songs, and we go to all the Who shows together.
Yeah.
And
never got to hear it live with your mom. Sucks.
What's that?
Never got to hear it live with her. That sucks.
Yeah. She's just always. She goes, "Do you think they'll play Magic Bus?" And I always.
The set.
Yeah, I refrain from looking like at set lists of the shows coming, before I go see them, just so like if I saw they were playing Magic Bus at every encore, I'd be like freaking out. It's such a fun fucking song, like especially to play on guitar. And I know John hated playing it because it's one note, but live version of it's incredible. Everything's great.
I might have heard it at my first Who concert at Quadrophenia at Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
I think he literally said, "I'm going to play the speed metal version of Magic Bus," or something like that. That might be from recording. I don't remember. I'd have to look up the show I went to.
Yeah. I
know they played 3 encores. I know it was Behind Blue Eyes and 2 other songs. So, I like this version. I always liked the hearing that that intro, the long one. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the I want it really, really triggers some stuff in my head from back then. Substitute. You like that one? Yeah,
I absolutely love this song. Again, like Entwistle in the middle with the bass solo. He physically, I think, just turned up his bass amp because they were recording, I think, live. And he just kind of walked over his amp and just cranked it up and played that piece, and they couldn't, take it out of the mix. So, just a great song, just super fun. Perfect. I love it. Jet engine of a song.
It was my first intro to non-Tommy Who, and there's a really weird correlation because in that 1989 concert, that's the first song after Tommy is Substitute on the Rickenbacker. And then the very first tape I got was the Who's Greatest Hits with the shirt that we've talked about before. And the first song on that is Substitute. So with that concert and with that tape, I didn't even know I Can't Explain was a thing.
Right.
For a little while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just Substitute. I love Substitute. It's one of the first songs I learned how to play. It's great. It's really heavy on the recording with the bass. It is not so in the live version. It's more of a guitar solo, I think.
Yeah.
I got nothing bad to say about Substitute. It's one of the first Who songs I really gravitated towards outside of Tommy. big meaning for me in that song. I love that song. Plus, there's I Hope I Die Before I Get Old, but I Was Born with a Plastic Spoon in My Mouth is one of my favorite lyrics, greatest lyrics ever written.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, just perfect. Yeah, so good.
I'm a boy.
And I have a question about this more than anything.
Yeah. You are a boy, I can tell.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Was the original version, because I don't have this album anywhere physically, so I listened to it on Spotify, and it was the stereo version. Was it always stereo on this album?
I don't know. We can look that up. I literally I literally tweeted the other day.
About it.
I literally tweeted the other day, stereo version, I'm a boy, yuck, right? I know that when I was listening to it, I was stacking wood the other day listening to the song in my headphones, and they were nicer Bluetooth headphones, and they were on either side. And I guess I'm just so used to either leads or hearing this. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. The original recording, released as a single, which features John Entwistle's French horn arrangement prominently in the mix, is available on the album Who's Missing. The version included on most compilations between the original 66 release and the Who Hits 50 is exactly the same recording with the French horns removed. The horns were not pleasant to my ears because I was not used to them. They were new to me. And I guess the song was originally intended with French horns. It had the French horns removed. I didn't see any French horns or hear them on Live at Leeds. So I'm not really into the stereo version.
No, it was awful. Yeah, when I saw your little tweet about it, and I was like, ooh, yeah. I was like, maybe it's not the version I'm thinking of. And I hit play when I was doing the notes. I was like, Jesus, this is brutal. And I didn't even finish it. I switched back to the mono.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
And when I did download My Generation for our previous review, I definitely downloaded the mono version of all those songs too. Because I just knew that there was going to be a change, and I wasn't going to like it. My ears were not trained to listen to it that way, so Yeah,
I listened to it on mono too for that. But like, just getting into I'm a Boy real quick, like, what a interesting topic, and like
it's crazy.
Just I don't want to say it was progressive for the time, but like, can you imagine like somebody putting out a song like that now? Maybe it's not that you're like your parents picked your gender and you came the wrong one, but like obviously you can imagine like there's lots, the topic of trans and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this has got to be really relatable.
It's definitely a precursor to all that stuff, and it's another thing where he's ahead of everyone else.
Light years ahead.
Even if it's a science fiction topic at the time, or your gender of your kids, people are doing that. I mean, really rich people can do that, right? They can take away a chromosome or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
By the way, I did share a cover of this with you.
Yeah.
The other day of the Hollywood Vampires.
Oh.
Oh my God. So let me ask you a question. Hollywood Vampires, I'm a Boy, or Studio, or Studio.
Ooh, stereo.
Stereo, yeah. Stereo or Hollywood Vampires. What are you taking?
Ooh, probably stereo. But
probably
man,
stereo. That's right. That's a bad cover, man.
That's an awful cover for sure.
Yeah, dude. I mean, really, you had to change it to baseball? Anyway, like, there was other things, but stereo, that's what stuck out. Change it to baseball.
Yeah, I put that on at work, and I was just like, ugh. God.
Yeah. Now, I do, that's the end of the review for Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy. But I do, and we're not going to rank that just because. But I sent you something the other day, and I want to point out to people because it's really good. It's a cover I found of A Quick One While He's Away, and I will put a link to it in the show notes. It's A Quick One While He's Away by a band called The Lady Shelters, and they're either from Japan. I sent it to you. Yeah, man, it's really shareable. It's really good. They put a lot of effort into it. It sounds really good. And I'm just really happy that there's younger people doing who things out there, and I
Yeah.
should point it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you sent me the link and I was like, all right, let's see what this is about. Like, I didn't even know how to review it or like what to send back, but like their recreation as far as like outfits, hair, just even like some signature shots from, the Rock and Roll Circus cut. I mean, the drummer doing like, perfect Keith Moon-esque moves. Yeah, they really knocked that out of the park. I mean, I was just even blown away. Like the bass player looks like John Entwistle. Same haircut. The singer's got long curly blonde hair. Like they really went all out on that.
Mm-hmm.
They can all play the shit out of their instruments. They're all really good.
Yep.
And I admire them for taking that song on because that's not easy for anyone to play.
It's not, yeah, man. I just wanted to point out. I'll leave a link. It's called The Lady Shelters, and it's a quick one while he's away. And I think that's going to do it for us for Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy. I hope you liked it. Thanks for coming. Email at fisherprotocol@gmail, or get the socials and say hi or something and tell us why we're right or why we're wrong. But do it nice, okay? Tom's not fragile, but I'm very fragile.
There you go.
There you go. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye.